And hello again, it's Dave Lane from Dutch Tents UK, doing another showcase video, this time of a nice little ESVO lightweight. It's a sectional tent. It's called a Mombasa. It's in really good condition. I've already taken some photographs of it and I'm just in the build-up stage, so I thought I'd just start the video now. So where we've got to so far is we've got the inner tent in there, and I've put an airbed at the back so you can get an idea. This is a 2-berth inner tent. There's another inner tent with this, and it's a single berth one, and as we go through the build up you'll see. So nice little cotton inner tent, and then the cotton canvas outer. There's a zip there because this middle section is a middle section, and the main tent is at the back there. So we've got some more bits of the tent here. Somewhere in this little lot there's the other inner tent, then there's the front section and some other little bits and bobs that we'll go through. And then once it's all complete we'll come back and carry on, and we'll talk about the condition and everything else. Okay, so let's do a little bit more work to this. So the inner tent is now loosely attached. So I've dropped this out of the way, and then I've hooked over. You can just see the loop that's attaching. So this is now free floating. And now I'm going to peg it out. So this is a single berth inner tent. Looks quite small, it is. Then over the top of this we'll have another third fly sheet. So just to recap, that's the middle section, and then that's the first section. Right, so we'll now pop the other fly sheet on. Just to give you a tip for this, there's the other section of the tent. You can see it's got a hole in there, and that's going to go over there. But I'm not going to do it on the outside of this. I'm going to lift this off. So what I'm doing is I'm tilting the pole back at a, sort of 60-degree angle, so everything's nice and loose and floppy. So I can then easily lift this off, attach the other one, put this one back on, and I'll do the same with the inner, put that back on as well. So now you can see how that goes together. You can just see the zipper, these two. I'm now going to zip them together, and then the same on this other side. And then we're just going to zip that section in. I'm going to go around and do the other bit. So now on the other side of the tent, the zip goes down. The zips are in good order. What I would suggest, that I've just found out here, keep the pole at the angle, and then to access the zips, just lift that over, connect the zips in, pull that back over. This takes a lot of the weight, this patch here, of this canvas. I'm not a fan of overburdening zips. Although these zips are strong, zips are never that strong on anything. So I never like to put tension on a zip. There you go, all the way down. So what we've got now is a nice loose, disheveled front section. I'm now going to peg all that out, get some tension. Okay, as I've just found out, before we start pegging out this end, this pole here, that upright, that's been at a 50-degree angle or 60-degree angle, put it back up straight. That way when we peg out this section of tent, we're going to make sure the tension is correct. So here is the base tent, fully pitched. You'll recognise this design. It's not uncommon. In fact, it's very common. this idea of having a ridge tent at one end, then having a middle section, and then an end here. Typically, to be fair, you don't tend to get a second inner tent in there, and what it does is it makes this tent a 3-berth. We've got additional poles to lift these front flaps either side. We've got front window there. We've got another access point in here that takes you inside to that small inner tent. So let's have a quick look. So now that back door is open, you can see the extra optional inner tent in there. And if that tent wasn't in place, then you appreciate you could just go straight in to the tent through this door if you wanted. So of course the main way in will be through this doorway, which I haven't finished building up yet. We've got the poles to add, which we'll stake out, and then we have some other side wing sections that you'll rather like. But before we go any further, one of the clear advantages of these sorts of tents is that they're sectional. So you can set it up like this in its full size and have you know, a nice week away. But proper, you know, once you've got the sun canopy up here, you've got a lot of storage space in there. 2 people in there, and then if you want another one in that inner tent as well. Equally, this outer section here can also be zipped to that section there. So you remove the inner, and what you get is a much more compressed version. I think in that scenario you wouldn't really be able to use both inner tents. So this would be a tent for 2, but what it would do is it would increase the pitch time quite a bit, and it would also give you some really good usable space. You'd effectively have your bedroom in there, and then you'd have this area as your entrance and porch area. So if you're, you know, storing more kit and bags in there, this is when you'd probably use it for a weekend, if you're going to a festival, something like that. Alternatively, you can completely leave this section off altogether, install the middle and that section, and then just have a large ridge setup. That's a low chair, not a normal sized camper chair, so you can see that if you had it in that setup, you'd still be able to sit down inside and have good shelter. You lose the privacy element, but you would gain a lot of cover, and then you could also pitch this up as well, so you would have this completely open. So with these tents you get a lot of different options as to how you want to arrange them, and as to whether you want to use it for a longer camping week or 2 away, or if you just want a quick weekend break. Okay, so let's set it up a little bit further and you can see what else you get. But we're not done yet. This is a tent that just keeps giving. So we are now about to install a triangular section in there, and then one for that side. This front section now becomes our front door. This is the section we're going to install in. It's got a zip. So to install it, we need to use this zip. So we're going to unhook this from this, because we're now going to attach that new section to this and to this. So we need to use that single zip. And again, to do this, I'm just going to re-angle that pole so I've taken all the tension off everything. It will retension properly when I put the pole up, because all of these ropes are pre-tensioned. Okay, we'll see in a minute. So now you can see I've got this new section zipped to there and to there, and I'm going to pop this storm flap back over the top, fold that down so we're not going to get any water ingress through there. Now all I need to do these zips up, and then this bit, actually I wonder if I can do it live, that goes to there. So now you can see that, and now I'm going to bring this right the way down, and we'll tighten